Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and on this week's Uncut episode, we're going to be talking about guitar pedals. I was recently asked a question, because I've been using the Benson Preamp since I got it in pretty much every single demonstration that I've done on this channel, as well as obviously, well, I'm not filming for YouTube, and I recently picked up the Browne Amplification Protein pedal, and that has been featuring quite a bit more. Brian wanted to know if I was just done with the Benson and going to be using the Browne all the way in the future, and no, it's not that simple, but I'm going to explain to you kind of how I use overdrive pedals and give you some examples of why they work in the scenarios that I do use them in. So for starters, this is my baseline clean tone. You'll notice there's no mic up on the amplifier today. I am running through the line out straight into the Apollo interface. There'll be some sort of IR connected to it. I couldn't be asked to set up anything else. But as it stands right now, this will be my clean tone. I'm on the neck pickup of a Strat. Just to give you a general idea. So now, if I just sit out and I want to play, I don't know. What I'm doing now, I'm not even using this as my baseline tone when I'm using single coils. What you'd be hearing is, I just turned the blues side, which is meant to be the blues breaker kind of vibe thing going on the Browne Amplification Protein. I'm going to play the same exact thing now. Off. So my baseline clean tone is set to have the Protein always on when I'm using single coil guitars. It's not adding a lot of drive per se, it's kind of beefing it up a little bit and giving it its own kind of unique sound to it. And part of the reason why this setup works so well and that I've found that with this specific amp, this is ideally how I have to have things going. There's not a lot of headroom on this amplifier. Right now we're attenuated down. You are hearing the emulated signal that's coming out from the line out into Pro Tools. But regardless if it's at no attenuation or attenuated, I never have the volume knob past 3. Because that's where things start to get a little bit squirrely. And if you're thinking to yourself, well then why wouldn't you, if you wanted just a little bit more out of the amplifier, dial it in through the amp, maybe put the volume to 4 and use the volume knob from there. I like the idea of switching from humbuckers to single coils, and maybe I'll pick up the Gibson in a few minutes here and I'll show you an example of why that wouldn't work. I like that push sound just as is, and if I need to be crystal clean, if I'm going to be using any real modulation, like heavy modulation from either the Volante, the Zelza, or the Astral Destiny from Earthquaker Devices, I prefer to not have the Protein on for that, but for just straight up cleans, that's what you're hearing from now on. When it comes to the Benson, it's always on, just not when I'm using one of these. It's when I'm using one of these. So, the main reason I can get away with this and why it does end up working is because obviously when it comes to humbucker equipped instruments, I'm going to want to add in a little bit more top end. And so what I do now is I have the treble a little bit past noon, maybe at 1 o'clock on the Benson, and everything else at neutral minus the gain, which I have dialed back the same manner in which I have it on the Protein. So it's my always on for that, unless I want crystal cleans. But it's kind of a fight if I'm not in the middle position and I'm trying to play clean out of this amplifier. So if I just wanted to... Benson on. Off. You hear immediately, especially on that last kind of repetition where I played it first with the Benson on and then with it off. A lot of the high end that I have dialed in from the Benson, it's very noticeable once I remove it. I'm adding in just the slightest amount of gain, but really I'm using it as its own kind of personal EQ pedal for guitars with humbuckers. And the cool thing about that is if I combine the Protein then on top of it with either the other side of the Protein, which we haven't discussed or shown today, it's based on the Noble's ODR1, and things can get a little bit squirrely. You combine all three of them for an over-the-top tone, or if I'm playing, this is my bass line on the bridge pickup for humbucker guitar, and I'm on the Benson. Protein with it. And that was the end with the Benson only on. So yeah, that's pretty much how I have things dialed in. And if I want to switch back to the singles real quick, I'll show you another few things I do. If it looks like I'm sweating buckets right now, it's because I am. It's freaking hot in here, but my kid sleeps better when the heat is on, so I apologize. We're gonna go to the bridge pickup, because bridge pickup on a Strat, notorious for being a little bit weak sounding depending on the set of pickups. These are the Abigail Ybarra initialed custom 69s on this classic player 60 Strat. I cannot believe I made it this whole video and I've only now just mentioned what this guitar is. I've never shown it on this channel, I don't believe, before. So if we just do the same thing, and you're just gonna hear the bridge pickup without any pedals on right now. Benson. If I click on the green side of the Benson and combine the two, somehow the gain got reduced. Let me turn it back where it's supposed to be. So. I got kind of lost there. I'm going to play with just the green side on. I know this might be getting complicated. You're not going to be seeing any of this on the screen, but you're going to have to take my word for it. So this is the right side of the Protein, which is the green side. pretty hefty. Now with both. Really cool for that. Last thing I'm going to do here is play with the Protein on, with the always on kind of clean tone that we already started out with here. So the Protein is on right now, and I'm going to combine it with the Benson. So I'm going to play the first part with just the Protein, and then in the chorus section, we will switch to the Benson Preamp. Or we'll add the Benson Preamp. That's that. That's pretty much all there is to it. And just out of, clarity's sake here, I'll go to the fourth position. It's super clean, even with the Protein on. So again, we're not going to get much drive, just adds a little bit of character, a little bit of life to it. So nothing. That's it. I know this was kind of all over the place. That's how we roll around here. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a little bit dry with the uploads lately. I appreciate your patience through this trying time. What was that? I was thinking of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Danny DeVito had a great line. I'm not going to be able to remember it, but it is what it is. Would you like a ham steak in this trying time? It's something like that, or an egg. If you remember in the comments down below, please correct me, because that's going to bother me. I'll probably figure it out by the time I post this, but I'm a crazy one. Thanks for watching. We're going to be doing a lot with budget guitars in the upcoming time. We're going to be putting together the blue Custom Shack Squire with a new set of pickups, and we're going to be trying out a budget Amazon part. Yeah, we actually went there. Wanted to be cheap about it, so we went cheap. And outside of that, the pink Jaguar, that will be put back to life. I just pointed as if it's in the rack. It's not. The only thing that remains of that right now is the body, but that should be a fun one too. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.